evaluate limits numerically, I will show you how to use a TI84 plus graphing calculator to do the function evaluation. Our first limit is x approaches to 0. The function is cosine of x minus 1 divided by x. So if you plug in a 0 to x, cosine of 0 is 1 minus 1 over 0. So that is a 0 over 0. So let's take a look at the left side and the right side. So I'm picking some numbers on the left hand side of 0. So I pick numbers like negative 0.0001. So 3 zeros after the decimal points, 2 zeros after the decimal point, and 1 zero after the decimal point. And then on the right hand side, I have 0.01, 201, 3 zeros, 1. Okay, now of course you can just like on the home screen, you can type cosine 0.01, close the parenthesis, minus 1. You take the difference divided by 0.01, that's fine. But there is another way to do a function evaluation very easily. So first of all, take out your graphing calculator. So the first place that you will have to go is you have to press the y equal key. So y equal is in the upper left hand corner. So you press y equal. Make sure there are no other function from your previous work. So make sure there is only one function, and then you input cosine of x minus 1 divided by x. Make sure you use parentheses correctly. Okay. And then the window. So you click the next key, window. So here is the window that I use, and then most people will just go ahead and then hit the graph. All right, you hit the graph. It looks like there is no vertical asymptote. Okay, but that is not what we need to worry about. So we need to worry about function evaluation. So there is a way to do it. So all you have to do is you click second. So the second is also in the upper left hand corner. This key has its own unique color. Usually it is in blue. For some older calculator, it might be in yellow. So usually it is in blue. So you hit the blue key, you hit second, you hit trace. Trace is on the left hand side of the graph key. So you hit second and then you hit trace. You will see calculate. So calculate, and then you pick the first one. The first one is value, and then that brings you to the next. That brings you to the graph screen, and then you see that there is an X, and then there is a cursor flashing. So input a number. So let's say you input negative 0.01. So they have an X, and then they are asking you to input a value, right? Put negative 0.01. So once you hit enter, that gives you a corresponding y value. So this one, let me fill it in. The first value that I got is 0.005. And then you can try the next one. So the next one, you want to try negative 0.01. So we are trying to do this. So all you have to do, you don't have to go back to the second trace again. Just hit the number you want right over there. So that means just go ahead and hit negative. Oh, by the way, negative and minus are two different keys. The negative is right next to the decimal point. Again, the negative key is right next to the decimal point. So that is negative, and then you type negative 0.001, and then you hit that. That gives you the next value, but unfortunately I did not include that screenshot right over here. That gives me 0.0005. And then we try the next one. So you put negative 0.30 and then a 1, so which is this screen. And then once you hit enter, you will see that there is a scientific notation. They give you phi e negative phi, right? So phi e negative phi is a scientific notation that is 5 times 10 raised to the negative 5th power. So that means you have to move the decimal point 5 steps to the left. 5 steps to the left. Okay, so the next value we have 0.00040, zeros, right? And then a phi. So as x approaches to 0 from the left, you can see that y is getting closer and closer to 0. Okay, so let's take a look at the pass step. So for the pass step, you don't need to go back to second and trace. Just type the value 0.01. I show you 0.001. Just type the value that you want, 0.001, and then you should get negative 0. And then followed by 40. After you got that, just hit the next value, 0.001. So that gives you negative 0.0005, and then the last one 0.01, you just type 0.01, that gives you negative 0.05. So as x approaches to 0 from the left, y approaches to 0. As x approaches to 0 from the right, y approaches to 0 as well. So overall, we conclude that this is equals to 0. Okay, so using this evaluation. All right. Next, we have a sine of x. So sine of x divided by x. So you go ahead, go back to the y equal. Make sure you clean up all the function. Right, you clean up all the functions, and then you have to input the function. Oh, by the way, there is something that I forgot to mention. I forgot to put a screenshot. The mode. Should you use a radian mode or degree mode? So I only use degree mode in application problem. So let's say your final answer is the degree is pi over 2. You don't say, hey boss, the degree is pi over 2. What is pi over 2? Whenever you report your answer in an application problem, you say the degree is 90 degrees. You don't say pi over 2. Pi over 2 is for us, okay, for mathematician. When you report your works to someone else, tell them the degree is 90 degrees, not pi over 2. Okay, so in this problem, should you use radian or degree? The answer is you use radian. All right, you use radian mode. So for the mode, there is a mode key. So if you hit the mode key, you should see that in line 4, there is a radian mode and degree mode. Make sure you select radian. Okay, so make sure you select radian. So how do you go back to the home screen? So to quit, you have to hit second, and then you have to hit the mode key to quit. Do you see that there is a word quit above the mode key? So that is in blue, right? So that's why the second key is in blue. You go to second mode to quit, to go back to the home screen. All right, back to our business. You hit y equal, and then you input the function. You don't need to graph, so we will be using the same window. So and then the next step, you will have to click second and trace, and then you select value. Second and trace, and then you select value. Second, trace, and then you select value. So they will ask you to input a value for x. I inputted 0.01 in negative. So what do I get? 0.01 in negative. What do I get? So that one I have I didn't give you a screenshot. So that one I have 0. Let me copy this carefully. 9999833. If you try negative, it is right here. So try negative. So you got this 9949 and then 833. And then the next one, you try negative 0.001, which is the next screenshot. So that one you are kind of have to I won't recommend you to round. I would just report the whole thing. How many nines? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. And then negative 0.001, they will put your answer in scientific notation. So that one gives you a 1. And then you change all the inputs to positive. So that will give you a 1. That will give you a 0.99969, right? Yep. And then 0.9999, 4 copies of 9, and then 833. Whatever that is, this is what we need. So as x approaches to 0 from the left, y approaches to 1. This is y approaches to 1. So therefore, that is equals to 1. Okay. So last case scenario. So in the last case, there is a vertical asymptote. So when there is a vertical asymptote, let's see what happened. So you go to y equal, clean up all the old functions, and then put cosine x divided by x. You can click graph to take a look at the graph. You don't have to change any settings in the window. So and then you go to second trace. second, and then hit the trace key, and then they will ask you to input a value. So just input negative 0.40 followed by a 1, and then you get that, right? So that is a negative 100,000. So that is negative 100,000. All right, and then you pick a number that is even closer. So this time you use 50, and then that gives you 1 mil, right? So that gives you 1 million. All right, 60, right? Because I want to count carefully. Yep, 60. And then for the positive, so the positive that gives you positive 1 million, and then a positive 100,000. Okay, what happened as x approaches to 0 from the left? This is getting so big, right? So we say that y approaches to negative infinity. This one is y approaches to positive infinity, as you can see on the graph. So therefore, the limit does not exist. Okay. In case you don't remember what it is, so do you see that this is a negative 1e6? This is a scientific notation. Okay, the calculator would like to display this number. This number is way too long. The system would like to put this in scientific notation. I know that it's a little bit hard to read, but you have to get used to it. All right, so that is the end. If you think this is helpful, you really like it, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share the video for me. Appreciate your help, and I will see you all in the next lesson. Signing out.